ladies, are you dreaming big enough? I want you to dream big and act bigger. You see, I want to have power. I want to be empowered. Suddenly, being empowered is a more positive word, because I want to make sure that I know my own values, my boundaries. I know what I want to achieve in life. Visible and invisible barriers are only a problem if you accept them as such. So a woman with a big dream also needs to have a plan, because without a plan, that dream is just a wish.
I love her confidence, I love her charisma, and her positivity and her brightness and her color and her lessons about life. You know, as a woman who's been through so much, it was really, really inspiring and really interesting.
I had 4 kids in 2 years. I wanted to be a businesswoman. I had no money. I had to think, how is this dream going to happen? If you actually start believing if something's important to you, just back yourself. Back yourself despite what other people say. Successful people are not held back by what other people say.
I would recommend that for everybody, because everybody should have a dream and everybody should back themselves. So I think she's awesome.
Even when it feels like everything's not going to work, they go, you know what? I'm going to make sure that this does work. I'm going to be positive despite, because it brings energy, it brings opportunity. And as soon as you actually get half glass empty, your vision will start failing. I encourage you to start making your dreams a reality in business and in life. Thank you. Hello and welcome to our summit, our Women's Biz Global Summit. It's all about mindset magic. We're talking about mindset shifts, when you've had those moments that you went, oh my goodness, all the light bulbs have gone on, or you've suddenly had those moments you went, I'm going to have to do something different. I'm going to have a real shift in a new direction, because what I was doing before was not working. So thank you to those of you who've been coming and showing up to all of our different sessions. We're having so many amazing speakers. If you are new right now, welcome, big welcome to you, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook or where else could you be, on LinkedIn Live or wherever you are. It's great to have you joining us. Make sure you also drop in a comment if you've got a comment, question, something that you'd like to ask our speakers. Definitely get engaged, because all of our speakers will come to you after our live summit timing and be able to correspond with you. You'll also find everybody in Women's Biz Tribe, and you've all been given complimentary access to that as part of this summit. So I would love to introduce our next summit speaker. She is an experienced summit speaker. She's been on our last summit, so you might remember Sunny. Her official name is Pei Ming Sun, but we call her Sunny. She was actually trained as a molecular biologist. She is a tiny habits certified coach. She's a Toastmaster. She's also a Gene Keys guide. She's created this amazing integrated system using what she calls the G.R.A.C.E framework, and she guides people who are over 40 to live a really sustainable life with a lot of discussion. We're going to talk about energy, rediscovering your root essence, and basically having good habits that enhance all areas of your life. So welcome to our summit, Sunny.
Hi, Annie. That is my privilege to be here, to be on the stage with you for this magic mindsets. Just like you said, we do need the shift. Whenever we have the shift coming, we just move to the different dimension, and we start to see more of the view, and also we impact more people. So I'm really happy and exciting to be here.
It's a great topic, isn't it? I mean, that's it. We always should be having mindset shifts, right? It's not as if it's kind of like, oh, here's a moment, maybe I should start thinking about it. If you're not, you're missing opportunities. You're not learning, growing and evolving. It's actually super exciting topic. So I'm really looking forward to diving in with you, because you're such an interesting lady. And so I'd love to just start by asking you a question. You know, you've got a real scientific background as a molecular biologist, so I'm going to stumble over that one. And so what are your aspirations of serving as a lifestyle mentor then for people over 40? How does a molecular biologist decide to go, you know what, this is who I want to serve, people over 40 to live a happier, healthier life?
Yeah, I think my aspiration coming out from really shift from 20th century for 21st century. And all the science I learned from the laboratory and from the lecture, right now it's not necessarily the whole true picture. And so I think I can actually, using my backgrounds, train as a molecular biology in the 20th century, but I updated my knowledge when I'm updating and learning the new 21st century. And I also find out, wow, I need to share this, because a lot of people may be so busy. Maybe they don't think about things as evolving. And so they're just living in the old, outdated information, particularly when we get to age related, like 40, our body has a lot of changes. But if we don't update our information and understand our body, then we might using the wrong, outdated way and try to boost our energy and try to sleep better and try all the things, but never work. And what's wrong with that technology or the knowledge? But it's because we are going to really update it, our knowledge first. So I think I can really, using my background in science and also the breakthroughs I follow through, I can share with people, and plus my real life experience. Because once I begin to update my knowledge about my body, my relationship with the universe, my age related body change, a hormone, all that, I believe actually I am in the best place to lead others through the same journey, but then we're using the updated information. So we don't waste our energy and time and try to figure out what's wrong with us. We are nothing wrong. It's just some knowledge need to be followed through and updated when we get into the 21st century. So that's the answer. I think I can definitely help with people with my life experience, my backgrounds, and my passion to help people just like me stuck there for years. It works.
I think it's such a fascinating way of looking at things. And as a scientist, that's it. You're looking at the body from a physiological, molecular kind of level of this is normal part of aging. So you adjust, you're not surprised by that. You then just go, okay, we're going to have to make some modifications. We're going to have to tune into our body and all that sort of thing. Whereas many of us suddenly, when you get to, you're feeling just life, you're always happy, healthy, things don't go wrong. And it is a bit of a surprise to the average person suddenly when you reach a certain ages that you go, oh, I'm not as strong as I was, or I've got suddenly some health conditions that I didn't have before. We constantly get surprised, whereas you as a scientist, you're like going, well, you shouldn't be very surprised by that. So I absolutely love that integration that you've got. So how do you then integrate modern science and ancient traditions? You sort of approach it from two ways, right? So I know you've got a real love and deep understanding of ancient traditions.
Yeah.
You also are a scientist. And so how do you then help sort of combine those to catalyze your clients' motivation to build that healthy lifestyle that they want to have?
Yes. Well, I have to appreciate you think I know everything, but I have to say, well, as a scientist, I don't know nothing. It's a lot of things just totally different. Like you talk about molecular level, physiology level, but to be honest, right now, 21st century, everything related to quantum. Like there have to be three-dimensional. Even with our body, our knowledge and emotion, everything actually is not linear. We need to perceive things as a quantum reality. So I find out actually the thing helped me to understand that whole picture is from ancient wisdoms. And a lot of ancient traditions, they actually using the energetic healing to explain things around the universe. And I believe that is so true because in that time, they don't have a laboratory. They don't have this documentation to document what they did in the laboratory setting. What they do is observe the nature. And from their pure, simple observation, and they have this system based on the interaction with the four seasons and the movement was planetary. Then they figured out we are all energy. And I think in that time, everybody believed that is what it is. But until 21st century, we are finally catch up with the data and know, yes, actually, we are energetic. We are connected with the universe and with all other things around us. And that quantum entanglement, you can call it that way, like we cannot really separate from the environments. We are influenced by everything we encounter with. And in order for other people to begin to change the perspective, right? That is just like magic mindset again. If we don't believe anything, and nothing will happen. It's just like a business. You want to do business with the people, you need to build this, trust, and those factor, right? Otherwise, you cannot do business with that person. It's the same thing when we are in the relationship. We don't even trust ourselves, or we don't believe any energy healing, or we don't want to upgrade about the options from the alternatives. And sometimes we got stuck. So that's why I think it's so important, other than myself, a lot of people doing the same work, is merge that ancient wisdom with the quantum view. And of course, right now we have a data to support that energy quantum view and move that with the technology. We have a lot of technology. We don't need to go to the pharmaceutical level, and we can achieve more and magical, effective results without side effects, without all the things we worry about. And would it be nice? We can really just motivate people and let them know there's options out there. There's all this holistic approach based on the ancient wisdom, and they are being thousand years, and there's nothing fail because we are still the same set of the body. Then also we appreciate all this breakthrough in the technology. For example, the stem cell research and phototherapy technology. we can just use the sunlight. We can using the internal, the innate wisdom, the stem cells to achieve things we want to in life. And so change to the lifestyle become much easier that way.
It's so much easier. I love the analytics. I love what you shared there. That's right. You can now get the data. The science can actually prove things. So from ancient wisdoms, a lot of those truths were actually just profound. You know, they were watched over, you know, thousands of years that you just learnt things and passed those truths down. And so some of it, it's kind of like, it's amazing how little some things have changed. And then you've also got massive shifts that, you know, they couldn't have imagined before, that we can now you know, adopt and implement into our lives, and we can actually have the data to actually know what works and doesn't work. And with this also, I love two things there. One, I want to start then talking about habits then, because you're going to have to start creating habits to then actually change what you're doing. But before that, you also will have a situation where to be in a modern science, you know, you're saying as a scientist, you know, most people would say, well, then there's medications and things to sort of avoid, you know, to actually help you in certain contexts. Whereas you're actually saying you can do a lot of this actually just by lifestyle. You don't need the medication. The medications I'm feeling, you're saying, well, they're actually a Band-Aid. Once you start looking at yourself, instead of just a individual, you're actually part of that whole environment. And that environment is, you know, the land, the air, the social, the you know, mental stuff, you know, your extension of self. Once you actually start tapping into that as a whole, a lot of those needs won't require medication. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of those problems that you have won't require the medication. Is that kind of where you're positioned there?
Yeah, I had worked in a pharmaceutical for more than 10 years. And the last 4 years, my job is in the regulatory affairs to report adverse events. And that is an open eye events. For that interaction, I just cannot believe it. Wow, yes, we can help with that condition, but how about all this coming side effects? And somehow I just feel there is better way, right? I'm not into the discovery, getting more of the advanced drug in that moment. But I was thinking about, well, you know, think about our ancestors. They don't have those kind of thing. And it sounds like they're healthier, right? I don't even know, maybe just a lifestyle problem. We are too busy. We're too stressful. So then just like you said, we need a Band-Aid. Tomorrow I need to go back to work. And so I need to have something to kill the symptoms so I can go back to work, because you know, it's just like we don't want to get behind.
Yeah.
Right. The lifestyle is so forceful, and I'm just not able to really relax and give our body a break. And for a short time, it's okay. But we usually work 20 or 30 or 40 years with the similar lifestyle. And when we into certain age, our metabolism and all this endocrine system start to behave differently. Right. So then if we're not aware of our changes, we still think about we need to using the same way, drink the same thing, and eat the same meal. And that environment provided to our body is not necessarily optimal for our age. So that's the other one is but energy never do that, or they flow with your age. So you will automatically adapt to the environment. Like if you're older, you just slow down yourself to be safe. Right. And the kids drumming around, they're just like a bundle of energy. So if you really flow with the synchronicity with your environments, then we are healthier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but for people to be aware, definitely need to get into the operation system, which is our habits, how we see things and how we deal with, respond to things. It's become the autopilot, those reaction. So that's why my role is as a tiny habit coach. Then I get in to using the habit implementations, but not forceful. It's just aligned with your flow with energy, because that's the quantum energy into the picture. Like we need to know everything we deal with or interacts the energy, right? We already know, proven by the science, we are just the energetic beings. So when we think about something or the food we eat, we create certain frequency. Now, when that coming to vibrate us, we are become the different beings. So it depends on you want to get high vibe or do you want low vibe. It's totally up to our lifestyle.
Yeah, that's it, because we're so unique and we're going to have a different lifestyle needs, different biochemistry. There's, there are so many variables there depending on our age as well. And I love that you're what we call a tiny habits coach, and you've got a tiny habits method, because it is the tiny things, isn't it? It's those little things. I remember having such a big mindset shift when I actually stopped the word busy. I didn't want to be busy. I wanted to be intentional with my actions, right? And there's a real shift there. So those of you listening in going, yeah, that's right, rather than just go busy, 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 autopilot, do what you're doing and take too much on, it was that moment of going, no, I want to be intentional. I want to be in charge of what actually comes into my world and how I actually do that. But then you suddenly get the blocks, because you get the autopilot, as I've mentioned, and then you need to start changing habits. And like we know with all things, if you try to do a big thing, it's harder to do it. So tell me about your tiny habits then, and how do you actually help people to then break through the misconceptions often are that, oh, this is just going to be too hard, because I just am the way I am. Whereas you go, well, no, you can actually break that down.
Yes. I mean, that is how, before I get tiny habit training, I was thinking about the same thing. Oh, it's hard to break the old behavior. It's difficult to build new one can last. Or it's like, I don't have time to change. But once I get involved with tiny habits, that is actually a book, the New York Times bestseller for years, and written by Dr. B.J. Fogg, who is Stanford University in the U.S., the behavior scientist for more than 20-something years. And he conduct a lot of experience and the human behavior experiments. So from his data selection, he sees something totally different than people like me relate to the habit building. So the mixed perception about habit is just, I mentioned about, we all come with, oh, it's hard to break the old ones. But the truth is, the fact based on our the brain circuitry about the feedback loop, it is not going to break the old habit at all. So don't even try. But the good news is you don't need to break the bad habits. You just need to build a new one, and you love that new one much more than the old one. So our mind directly just automatically shift to the new behavior, other than you try so hard to break the old one, because it's never going to happen, because that circuitry has been there years and it's so tight and it just no way. But you can build a good one around that old circuitry, but then give you more of the pressure for this empowerment. So you would like to do it more. So that is the first one. I have the misperception about what is so hard. But yeah, it is a misperception. I want to break it. No.
It's so true. I'm going to pause you on that first one. So people at this summit listening in, watching us now going, oh my God, that is just, actually write it down. That's such a gem. It's often because we approach things from, oh, this is going to be painful. There's going to be a sense of lack. And so therefore, when you go, I'm going to have to break something, it's going to be difficult. It's the same sort of concept of going on a diet. It's kind of like, I'm going to have to change and it's going to be hard. Whereas that is just such a gold gem. When you actually go, no, just leave that where it is, because it's something that you're feeding at the moment, feeding with your time and your energy and resources. Actually just start something new that you then get into, because there's a time demand, there's an attention, where are you going to put your attention? And the other one will actually just drop away. So yeah. I hope everyone's found that gold nugget. Like, seriously, that will change your life just there. Sorry for interrupting you, Sunny.
No, that's why we need to talk about it, so people understand, oh yeah, that just makes sense now, right? And I mentioned about the build a new one, you are like love that better, is because the tiny habit formula. We have this recipe, have a 3 elements. It's called ABC, right? So A stands for the anchor moments. So for our day, the routine, we go on, do. We have a lot of anchor moments. Sometimes we're not paying attention, but we can actually pause any moments. For example, after I turn the faucet on, after I brush my teeth, after I brush my hair, all those are all the anchor moments. If you pay attention, we have more than 200 anchor moments throughout the day. All right. So we can choose the one is perfect for that behavior. So B is for behavior, but behavior need to be tiny. Behavior need to be like very easy. So we don't feel the resistance or obligated to do it. And so we can choose anything as like a behavior, that first step. For example, you want to go for a walk. So your first step, if you don't walk barefooted, you want to put the shoes on, right? So your first step actually is to put the shoes on. Your tiny habit should be, maybe you after dinner, you want to go for a walk. So you say, after I finish my dinner, I put on my shoes. That is the tiny habit. It'll be less than 2 minutes. But then you have the C component. So C component is the celebration. You have to recognize you did it, and you give you credit. You remember after a dinner, I put the shoes on. So regardless of raining, snowing, anything, you just put your shoes on and you celebrate. Well, of course, if the weather's nice, why not go out for a walk, right? But you don't need to obligate it to say, I have to walk for 20 minutes. Otherwise, I feel I'm failed. Right? But the tiny habit give you this empowerment. You just need to put the shoes on. They celebrate, you can jump up and down. You can say, hey, good job, Sonny, or anything. You want to boost that dopamine. So that's the science, right? When you have a dopamine, which is a happy hormone, just generated by that celebration, then you can keep your dopamine level in your body in a certain level. That's how the critical amazing tool, the tiny habit. If you have 5 tiny habits throughout the day, you're always happy. You never go down to that depression and angry, stressful stage. You always like, hey, I did it. I'm great. So that empowerment is such a great transformational tool, right? So then we can go on to the second one, the misperceptions about I need to force myself. Right? That's because we need a motivation. We need a willpower. We need to have this, the boost of energy to get things done. But how many of us can really continue sustainably to get it done, right? You always kind of like boost and dropped, but failed again. But for the habit, the second misperception actually, based on the information, the data Dr. B.J. Fox collected, is emotions create habits. It's not motivations. It's not repetition. It's not really the real power. So that's good news again, right? So we don't need to depend on this unreliable motivation coming and going, or, we have to force ourselves all the time to to change that behavior. We only need to do is to relate it to that emotions. Like when you doing something, you have this fuzzy, shiny, warm feeling. Remember that moment. Then that habit will be easy to continue because your body love it. So anything is just, you have to align with our body. You don't against it. So the second misperception is just we need to force our behavior. Well, we don't need to. We just need to embrace it and feel the shy feeling that dopamine coming out from the inner, so we can feel like, hey, I want to do more. And that's easy, right? Tiny habit, 2 minutes or less. And think about, you can create different spots, the anchor moment with those, and keep your dopamine pumped. Then everything become easier, because when we're happier, everything's easier, right? At least I find that out.
It's so so is. I love that word you just used, forced. Yes, that's right. When something is forced, you're not going to continue it. It's going to be fleeting, right? That's why you just do something. It creates, you're forcing yourself to do it. You don't really want to do it. You're not getting any joy. And so you can kind of try your commit, but only when you're just so consciously committing. You might do it a couple of times, and then your heart. I love that what you actually said. It's your emotions that actually, drive that, create that habit, because it's about saying if you love doing it, if you're engaged, if it's giving you excitement, energy, enjoying it, then you're going to then, create better habits around there. And also I love what you said, as a bit of a party girl myself, I love celebrating often, and you get more joy celebrating all the little bits, because that's right. It's like, oh, I'm going to celebrate, a bite-sized chunk and a bite-sized chunk. And not that you've got to go woohoo every moment, but it's like achieve. It's like, yeah, it's really enjoyable. It's more manageable, and it makes you then go, oh, I don't have to wait right to the end to hope I get to some crazy level that someone's decided is successful, right? It just means that you can actually celebrate the journey.
Yeah.
Most of us go on a journey long term, right?
Yeah, it's like, we need to really honor ourselves. We are already amazing, right?
Yeah.
We can do a lot of things if we allow us to do it. Sometimes just our interferes and our self-doubts is like, no. So, we are very amazing, but then we defeat it like, oh, I cannot do anything. But that is going to the last misperception I want to share is like, you are not the problem. When the habits you want to build cannot stick, it's not the problem. You are not the problem. The thing is, you might be design issue. You may be put in the wrong spots. It's not convenient for you to do that behavior. Or it can be maybe you want to jump too fast, right? Like you never walk or you never run, but then you want to participate like 2 miles a marathon next month. So you force yourself to do a lot of things you never has the foundations to do it yet. So that might be the design issue. And the other thing is, that is is our operation program. Sometimes we just don't believe we can do it, right? We all heard about this placebo effect. Those are 60 to 70%. When we believe it will happen, it will happen. But the opposite we call nocebo. It's the same thing. It's a powerful denial power. So when we say, oh, I cannot do it, I just believe I can lose weight. I don't believe I can be successful. I don't believe I can find a good person to marry. When you have that nocebo effect, come on, who is blocking you? Well, I'm guilty for that for years. Like I'm the one. So, but it's still not you. Your thoughts, your emotion, everything is not you. We cannot be defined. We just have that experience, right? So when you think about something, you are feeling something, that is the energy going through us. So don't ever think about we are just like them, because it's like we are energetic. So when they come in, we don't like it. We stay for a little bit and they'll be gone. So you don't need to force to push them away. We just need to be patient and allow that happen and honor ourselves to say, hey, I have this experience. Just let it be. But if you really trust yourself, that's a different story. So that is most of people stuck in that core value, the belief system, and they couldn't have the new habits. It's not because you cannot do it, it's you need to start to believe yourself.
Yeah. There's a lot of self-belief that we could unpack over many, many other episodes on or future summits, which will be amazing. And I do love that concept of design. We have to create a future or a way of approaching these habits with a design that actually works for us. So often I find that we pick up someone else's design. We pick up this is the way it worked for them, and they've been really successful. So it's kind of like this model gets presented, whether it's a fitness model or a model for life, healthy lifestyles, how to marry the right guy, do all this sort of stuff. Then you kind of have this social model, cultural model, whereas so then when we do it, that's it, and it doesn't work, we often just think there's something wrong with me. Whereas I love what you went and said, going, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that model, it doesn't work for you, right? So it's
Yeah.
actually allowing yourself, and you've used a really nice word there, grace. You've used the allow yourself the grace to actually learn about yourself, and then learn about designing a life by design, a way forward that will work for you, because then you don't have to force it. You can do it in your own time. You don't have to put yourself into total shock and pain. That's right. I love that idea of, that's right. I'm actually doing it. I was telling everybody before that I'm doing a big hike. So I'm suddenly like, oh my gosh, the hike's around the corner. I've got to go out every day. Now, ideally, in a better sort of lifestyle, you build it up over weeks and weeks and weeks. Whereas I'm suddenly like, oh my gosh, how did that get to 2 weeks around the corner? I've got to train hard, and there's more painful. There's less joy, but we get there. But for something to be sustainable, right? And that's what I love, what the work that you're doing now with those women over 40. You're actually looking for a lifestyle that is sustainable, that you'll feel healthy and well ongoing as you mature, because you're actually like, this is who I am. I'm going to adjust to that. I'm going to have little habits that support that. So those people who are wanting to reach out to Sunny, you can find it through sunnylifesolutions.com. But what are they going to find when they reach out to you, Sunny? How are you going to actually help them? Really, really simply, what will they receive?
Yeah, I mean, I can share 5 major benefits. Of course, I got more benefits if you join our community. It's called Healthy Living with Grace over 40. Grace is my framework. I combine my science and the ancient wisdom and the technology. So I will keep everybody's vibes, the vibration, the frequency higher in the level, so we can feel grace. But as a framework called gratitude, we all know that's very powerful for us to keep this peace in our mind. And the second is resilience. And once we got right skills, and the challenge become more fun, right? We just like, all right, there's something coming again. Yeah. Let's do it, right? So that the resiliency is definitely to be there for us to move forward with this piece. And the third one is acceptance. That is need a little reflection. All right, and nobody's perfect, but just like Annie talked about, we are all designed differently, and we are all coming with different gifts. So the acceptance, other than say, oh, I'm not good enough, I say, no, you're different, you're unique, and need to find out what is your superpower and your gift, right? So you need to accept your amazingness. And the C stands for consciousness. It's all those things is, if we are not keeping our consciousness in a certain level, we cannot even see we have options. We've trapped in that low vibes. So we see things different than when you have high vibe. That's my personal experience. So when you shift the consciousness, you start to see something you never noticed. You never hear the birds or see the flower or see, hey, actually, my in-law is not that bad, right? So it's all this different vibration related. And the last is energy. If we don't have a sustainable life energy, we always drain our energy. It's really difficult for us to really enjoy ourselves and truly love ourselves. So that is my grace. And the benefit for that is including you can know yourself in the holistic level, like your body, mind, soul, because those things never separated, right? And the second one is I can help to implement your healthy lifestyle with like effortless tiny habits. And I know the in and out because I am the living proof. I know exactly I can do it and you can do it too. And the other one is, it's got so many technology. But I know the very solid US patent, more than 130 patents, called phototherapy technology. And I personally use it almost a year. That's amazing. I can have all this sustainable energy. I can feel I'm 20 again. And I can even, improve my skin, all the things because the energy, I know how to use in the energetic healing power through the technology to help everybody around me. And the last one is we can rediscover who we are. Sometimes we say, oh yeah, who are you? Oh, I'm the molecular biologist before, I'm tiny habit coach. So those are all the roles and functions we put ourselves, or maybe people give that to us. But what is our superpowers? We really need to go inner and go deeper to start with the self-discovery journey. That's why I'm using the system called Gene Keys or Human Design System. Maybe you heard about someone talking about with this picture, like, but it's really based on the 5 ancient wisdom system and also put together the modern technology and let us to see ourselves in different lands, in the holistic level, not just the linear, the molecular level, but your energy, you connect with the planetary system. So you can start shifting. And the final goal, I really want to connect with a lot of people around the world, is we need to form a community to start to live with grace. So when we live with the grace, we can impact everybody around us one by one. Start with ourselves. Once we heal ourselves, if we can hear ourselves, we can hear the world, because you can start to make a ripple effect to influence anybody around you. Then they can influence everybody around them. Right. And like Annie and all the people, they are amazing global tribes. Or think how many people it can impact just for, one person, then become 10 people and 10 become, it's just like crazy fast. And why not? Right. We can heal ourselves together, and the whole planet Earth, because we are all connected, can be definitely influenced by our energy. So that is my hope. I hope my Grace community can start growing this year. And really, we cannot wait. This is just so many things we need to go there, be the lights for other people.
Oh, I thank you so much for sharing with us at this summit, Sunny. I love your energy. I love your glow. You look so healthy and fresh, and as a high vibe person, I'm all about staying in that high vibe, just really activating your energy in all the right areas, so that other people go, isn't it exhausting? No, because you just don't have all that other baggage. You approach life differently. So those of you watching, listening in, oh my goodness, it's so easy to find Sunny. You can find her in womensbizglobal.com in our tribe. You can respond to any of the different platforms that you're watching now. She will then reach back out to you. And so I hope you will take some of those key teachings today. There was just so much in your responses to the questions that I had. I think really, really great opportunity for all of us in this new year, 2023, to be actually thinking, what shifts do I need to make? What mindset shifts do I actually need to make my magic happen in my world? And a lot of that is just tapping into your own self, your own energy levels, your health, your wellness, your desires. And it's just a joy to actually have people who are helping others tap into that. So thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you, Annie, for this opportunity. Remember to keep our magical mindsets, because we do need that. We all have a lot of insight.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello and welcome. My name is Anniegibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global. As a woman, a career executive and mum of 5, I know that becoming successful in a modern day society, it can be extremely difficult and challenging. The requirements of career and business success are often overwhelming, especially when you have competing priorities like family. But that does not mean that you can't be extraordinary. At Women's Biz Global, our goal is to educate, motivate, and elevate women so that they can have the freedom to live a life they love. It doesn't matter what your current status or position is. Your empowered future starts now. Whether you're a startup or a scale-up, or you're juggling business, life, career, family, everything, we will teach you how to dominate in your niche area without the stress and overwhelm that comes from wasting time and money and energy. We will equip you to achieve success, balance, and happiness on your terms. We invite you to join Women's Biz Tribe. Start by attending Women's Biz events and enjoy the benefit of interacting with like-minded women from around the globe who are choosing to unapologetically play a bigger game. Women's Biz Coaching offers a variety of programs that may suit your needs. We have boot camps and webinars, online structured programs and incubators. They're all designed to help grow your personal and professional brand, confidence and support framework. Women's Biz Media will help you discover extraordinary women via our podcast, Memoirs of Successful Women, and reach 12 million potential readers via Women's Biz Magazine. Women's Biz Publishing will take all the pain away from getting your voice and message out into the world. Your brand value will literally skyrocket overnight. And if you would prefer to access our consulting services, I will personally ensure high value solutions are provided to meet your specific needs, to time, to budget, and all with a beaming smile. Finally, get to know our affiliate partners and learn how you might like to become one yourself. Women's Biz Global is the support network that will fast track your journey to success. So what are you waiting for? Be unapologetically you. Women's Biz Global, helping women succeed in business and life.